This year marks the 25th anniversary of German sim racing equipment manufacturer Fanatec, or Fanatec. The choice is really yours. It's gone from, in 1997, making joysticks to now with the Formula 1 licence and a Bentley steering wheel that can be used as an art piece. So why then are we in Belgium to celebrate this milestone? But you see, Belgium isn't so crazy because it is home to Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, or Spa, one of the greatest circuits on Earth. And this track also holds the Total Energies 24 Hours of Spa race. And Fanatec is here to celebrate its 25th anniversary at the pinnacle of GT3 racing. Also bearing in mind that the BMW M4 GT3 that's competing has the exact same steering wheel that you can use in the race car or in your sim rig at home. You see, merging those barriers between motorsport and sim racing. So there's no better place to celebrate the 25th anniversary than Belgium.
Hardware isn't the only symbiotic reason to be at Spa either, as these days Fanatec is the naming rights partner of the GT World Challenge Europe series. You may formerly know this championship as Blancpain, but these days it's Fanatec, and it's a big deal that a sim racing company will become a household name for motorsport fans. And yes, it's pronounced Fanatec, but you're officially allowed from the CEO to say Fanatec, and it's perfectly fine, and I think in this video I use both, so watch out for that.
So another thing that the fated sim racing equipment manufacturer Fanatec supports is this, the Fanatec Esports GT Pro Series. Here's a suite of simulators, and there's some more over there. They're running Assetto, Corsa, Competizione, and the real-world GT World Challenge drivers and Spa 24-hour competitors, therefore, are racing in a virtual competition. Then the top three are awarded first, second and third, but also team points for the Real World Championship. It's quite unique, and we're here to check out this particular round.
Motorsports and sim racing coming together. We have the big Fanatec arena there. We have the race drivers of the 24-hour race sitting in our simulators. I mean, that's the perfect spot.
Yeah, so speaking of which, earlier in the week we watched the Fanatec Esports GT Pro Series, where the real-world drivers from the race that's happening behind us were in the simulator before the race. What was the thinking and methodology behind creating that series?
Well, it was basically that at some point those two things have to merge together anyway, and sooner or later somebody would have done it, because the hardware was getting, and the software, both was getting at the point where it was really able to replicate realism, so that real-world drivers are training in simulators for their racing to become better. So it was really a matter of time that somebody will make a racing series where you can actually earn points with a simulator. And so, okay, well then we want to be that.
James Baldwin, winner of the Fanatec GT Pro Series at the 24 Hours of Spa. How was the race for you? It was pretty dominant from where we were stood.
It was good. It was good fun. Qualifying was like, I did a lap that I was so happy with. So yeah, the race itself, like performance-wise, probably wasn't my best, but I wanted to just bring it home. Like, to be honest with you, like the team hasn't had a great run in esports so far this year. Garage 59, and yeah, I had a little bit of pace over Nicky. He was really quick in the Aston, but yeah, managed to build a gap. I think my tyre management was slightly better, and yeah, it was good.
Yeah, you said you had a good lap in qualifying, but it was 9/10. Let's round it up to a second, quicker than second place. That's pretty good. Is this the first one of this particular championship you've taken part in? And why this weekend in particular do you think that you've entered it?
Well, the only reason I'm here is because I've managed to find the budget to go racing in real life. Obviously, everyone here is a real racing driver in GT World Challenge, and I've been lucky enough to get the budget together for the biggest race in GT racing, Spa 24 Hour. And it just so happens that I can do this. I mean, it's a really cool element of the series because it counts towards the actual championship as well, and the team gets a bit of prize money, and it's good fun. Like, so, and the drivers like are quick on a sim. Like Nicky was rapid, so yeah.
All right, this is the Fanavan, or is it the Fanatec? Anyway, it's a Volkswagen van, transporter, caravel, whatever you want to call it, with a Porsche 911 GT2 engine in the back. That also means Porsche rear axle. Got the Carbon brakes, Michelin Cup tyres. And yeah, the Fanatec CEO Thomas is going to take us for a drive. It's also got a central driving position, and we're doing a quick hot lap around Spa. Pretty nervous.
Should be fun though.
Well, seeing as we are celebrating an anniversary of the company, let's go through a very brief timeline. It all starts in 1997, but not with steering wheels or even sim racing equipment. You've got the Hellfire joystick, which actually had the Fanatec name. You had a multi-port for PC and a game board. Then, a year later, came this, the Le Mans, the first Fanatec steering wheel. This is for PC only at the time, and it has a combination of belts and springs to drive it, and a little gear shifter on here. It's quite primitive by today's standards, and the aim at the time was to create a more premium and a better feedback system for sim racing, although at the time, I'm not entirely sure the term sim racing was a thing. So 1998, 1 year after launch of the company, is the first steering wheel. This was also made into a variant called the Speedster in the same year, which was for the PlayStation.
When I started this business 25 years ago, I had absolutely no idea where this would end up now. I mean, just look around. If I go through the paddock, see the Fanatec logo everywhere. I mean, these are the things you cannot imagine. And believe me, I have quite some vision.
Fast forward a few years, well, nearly a decade, and we've gone through the Speedster 2, the Speedster 3, which was for the first Xbox and the first ever Forza Motorsport title, and in 2007, a landmark licensing agreement, the first ever third-party company, regardless of product, to make Porsche-branded items. This was the Porsche 911 Turbo wheel and pedal set, but the company also made a Porsche 4GB, no less, USB key or drive, and a Porsche-branded mouse. Then, a year later, something significant. The first ever mass-produced load cell pedal set. This was the ClubSport pedals, and ClubSport, even now, is a name synonymous with Fanatec. And now here we are on our whistle-stop tour of the 25 years, missing a few steps along the way, but we're in the present day. And that means we've got some really high-end licensed items, and also some democratization of direct drive technology. So, to kick off, we have the Podium Button Module Rally. This setup was used by Sebastian Loeb and Isabel Galmiche to win this year's Monte Carlo Rally. Now this has been announced, but the actual release date is still to be confirmed. Similarly, there is the Bentley Podium Steering Wheel GT3. This was used in the Pikes Peak GT3 Bentley in the real world, but also it has like basically effectively like a smartphone and a big display in the middle, which can be used as like an art piece in your office, and then also used for sim racing. One of the most interesting facets, and probably why Fanatec has invited some people to Spa-Francorchamps for the 24 Hours of Spa, is the BMW GT3 wheel in the Podium line. This same wheel, the same part number, is being used right now, and as we speak, I don't want to jinx it, is leading the race by Rover Racing with Nicky Kasberg and Augusto Farfus among the drivers. It could be that this wheel is actually used to win a race, and then you can buy it when stock is available for your sim rig at home.
Well, I mean, it was a quite ambitious idea. I mean, we were working with BMW for many years, and back then we actually made a marketing video where we were a little bit faking, to be honest, that a race driver is putting the steering wheel out of the car and into the simulator. But since then, I was always like, why don't we really make it happen? And let's try that. And then BMW was talking to us again about licensing and if we want to do another wheel, etc., another replica. I said no. Now I want to do the real thing.
If you don't know about sim racing, you do have the money, and I like this product, seems good, I'm gonna buy it. You're gonna get home, you're gonna go to the website, download drivers, plug a USB to your computer, and you're set. If you have a PlayStation, plug it in your PlayStation, and it works. You don't need to earn like a MIT degree to put that into use. So I like that they are high-end, but anyone can use it. I think that's the best thing about it. It's the plug-and-play feature.
Ultimately, I personally find this company very interesting because they are really trying to merge the lines or blur the lines between motorsport and sim racing, and partnerships like this or more affordable technology like the direct drive wheels is really key to that philosophy. But there is also something new just over there. So what we have here is a Formula-style cockpit by Fanatec, a prototype, and this is the first of its kind for the company. That means a low-slung seat, which is an all-new design, and pedals that are mounted higher up, so you're almost sat lying down with your feet higher than your posterior. The pedals can be moved fore and aft, as can the seat. It moves forwards and backwards as well. And one of the key innovations is the monitor is quite low down and close to the driver. This is because it's not above the wheelbase, thanks to an extension shaft and a mounting bracket, which would come part of this if it goes on sale. So like I say, the design is not final, some of the details are not final, but we're here in the early stages. This was first seen or tested during the F1 Esports Pro Exhibition event earlier this year, but now we're about to take it for a spin and see if it's any good. And my impressions are, you've got good adjustability. I like how low the monitor can be placed, and I think that once you get used to sitting on the floor basically in the reclined position, it feels very natural, especially when we're playing the Formula 122 game with the cockpit camera. It does add to the immersion, so I'm very interested to see the final product and when it will be released, what it will be called, and the pricing.
After we'd watched some of the real-world race and tested out some of the prototypes, it was back to the Fanatec Arena, where the 24 Hours of Spa race organisers, SRO, had also invited some of the quickest professional sim racing drivers around to a one-off race night event in person with a €14,500 prize pool up for grabs. Also broadcast live online, David Tonizza for Ferrari came out on top after a close battle with his teammate Kamil Palowski, Tobias Pfeffer and Niels Neljoks.
So David Tonizza, congratulations, you just won the SRO Esports Racing Night. It was a very stressful race. Top 3 cars were very close. How did you manage the scenario towards the end?
It was a very tough race, starting from literally the pre-practice, because here in these LAN events you have to adapt to the simulator. Today I didn't manage to do it properly like I usually do, so I have been struggling the whole afternoon, and in qualifying I qualified myself in P5. With the pace that I had at home I could have been P1, but that's sim racing, so I qualified there, and in the sprint race I saw that I was getting the pace lap after lap, so I said, okay, in the race I have my chance, and I managed to get some position at the start, and then the strategy. At the middle of the race I went for an overcut, I left the pit lane in P1, and after that my teammate pushed me like crazy.
It was a very exciting race from a spectator, so I can't imagine what it was like for you behind the wheel. So finally, we're in the Fanatec Arena during the 24 Hours of Spa. What's it feel like to be back in person with the vibe and the atmosphere? It must be good to doing esports against your peers again.
It's crazy because many of my fans know I joined this path, this career of sim racing, because I love to be on stage, and unfortunately my last on-stage competition was on 2019 for the F1 Esports 2019. Since then, just online competition, which I really hate. I say it publicly, I really hate. And finally, after 3 years, after the pandemic and everything, we're finally back on site, and I couldn't ask anything else, because this is a new starting point for sim racing.
And it was at this exact moment the batteries in my microphone died after a full weekend of recording and me not checking them once. Rookie error. In the end, it was a pleasure being there as the German-based sim racing equipment manufacturer celebrated a quarter of a century in style and laid down a marker for the rest of the industry to follow. If you'd like to learn more about the 650 horsepower van or its first ever steering wheel, visit the TraxionGG website linked in the video description, where there's a couple of specific articles. Please subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this, but otherwise, keep it pinned.